Yo, check this out.
What's up, dudes? Max here, and welcome to the first official patch release notes breakdown for Killer Instinct. As you all know, Killer Instinct has finally received its first big official patch, and this one actually goes in a little bit of in-depth about how character balance is and other things, but how much is it going to change the game? Before we get into the unique character stuff, let's talk about the basic things that have actually changed within this patch of Killer Instinct. First and foremost, Killer Instinct Classic costumes are finally available, Orchid is readily available as we already shown, and Jago is available through a bug in the game right now. There was also a huge change to one of the achievements known as Battle Worn, which originally required you to have 2,000 wins per character. This has now been changed to only 200, because that was freaking ridiculous. Ranked matches now allow you to actually see your opponent ranking up or ranking down, and it shows yours as well if you win or lose. The Killer Instinct store, as was said in the previous video and one of my requests, is now working properly so you can actually purchase any of the Killer Instinct colors you were unable to do before, and other small KP exploits to get like KP points are no longer available. That stuff does not work through Dojo mode, and the game, shockingly, some of you guys have noticed it, and I've definitely noticed it playing it in person, but not really seeing footage. The game is a little bit brighter. Killer Instinct had an issue with crushed blacks. That means that you had certain black colors or darker colors that were very dark, and it darkens everything around them, which crushes the blacks, which is a common known term. This is actually kind of gone now, and it's a good thing because some stages were very dark and it was really hard to see stuff, and it was kind of awkward at times because the Xbox One seems to do this with a lot of games, but it looks like Double Helix has alleviated this, and the game is slightly brighter than it used to be, making it overall kind of better to look at on almost every single character stage. Now, one of the big things that Killer Instinct has been touting for a long time is that it will have rotating characters as far as the free character available for the free-to-download version of KI, and it has finally happened. The army of Jagos is technically lost, but there's still a ton of them out there because Jago, in my opinion, is still one of the better characters in the entire game. But the free-to-play character is officially Saberwolf now, so any of those low-ranked dudes will no longer be using Jago. They gotta buy the game to get access to Jago now. There were other small fixes between USB ports and some save data stuff that wasn't too big, and also you being able to choose character select from the Versus menu, which is freaking fantastic when you want to go into Versus mode. But the big stuff, the big things that we really wanted to see a change with is how ranked matches work, and thank God it has finally gotten an adjustment. In general, there's this chart that actually shows you how things are going to be changed between winning a match, losing a match, how many points you gain, and how many points you will lose. But what you guys really need to understand now is, essentially for every game you play, you will actually earn points now. Whether or not it's against a low rank, a high rank, anything, you will actually get something and see progress on your bar. Even as a rank 14, I was beating people that were under rank 5 or so, and I could still see progress going up on my bar, which is good. You deserve something for fighting. In any situation, you still lose a lot of points. There is still a big sacrifice if you actually do not win in a situation where somebody is like a lower rank than you. You're still going to lose quite a bit, but you will see your rank return back up, which is probably the best thing of this entire thing. So playing ranked matches is going to be an absolute thing again for myself. I was kind of steering clear of that because it was a bit frustrating because you would lose all of your progress before, but in this state I think it's pretty good. We'll just see how it evens out itself with everyone ranking up so much. Now, there's a couple of things that have changed globally for every character in this system, and here's where a little bit of the balance stuff kicks in. Killer Instinct has had this issue with instinct mode and like shadow combos and things that become kind of unbreakable in situations after you activate instinct. A lot of that stuff is completely fixed and patched up. There were other things where certain combos had enders, but you could still not break them, like opener to ender, but for some reason you couldn't break it. That stuff has not been adjusted. There's a big one that happened to Jago, which is actually, in my opinion, kind of a nerf, but now it's kind of following the suit of the game. And it's that Jago's Endokuken is now labeled as an opener and not a normal hit. What this means is that if you throw out an Endokuken and you put out a Shadow Endokuken, you can break the Shadow Endokuken after, if the original Endokuken does hit. That, for me, kind of changes the way I play Jago a lot from mid-range, because I rely on the Endokuken landing and canceling it into the Shadow one, which now counts as an opener to ender, and that's freaking breakable. So that'll change up quite a bit about Jago. Saberwolf got kind of a pretty big nerf in my opinion as well. Shadow Eclipse, which is his big, opening, like, down, up, all three punches move, this thing now scales properly and it counts as an opener. Only if it counts as an opener. So, for example, unless you're anti-airing somebody, or if you're just on the ground and you use it, it does pretty weak damage. Like, it takes kind of, I think it does half as much damage as it does before, it feels like, and it actually counts as an opener now, and that makes Sabrewulf kind of not nearly as good as he was before, because in general, Shadow Eclipse isn't as good as it used to be. There's other small things with Sabrewulf, but that's kind of the big one that you're really going to notice. Orchid had a little bit of adjustments. She had damage scaling corrected on Upper Firecat, which was something that you can use to open a combo and then end it really fast. It doesn't do as nearly as much damage as it does now. So it's kind of like a lot of these changes are following suit to more of the game mechanics instead of individual character nerfs or adjustments, mostly because these things are now following suit to how the game should be flowing, and some characters just had things that just didn't apply to them for some reason. Glacius' Shadow Hail now acts as an opener. I think it acted as a linker before. And Sadira, I think this was the one thing that caused all of the issues with her unbreakable combos. Sadira literally could get up to 60% unbreakable combos if she had Instinct, and it was the fact that her jumping Widow's Bite, her jumping heavy Widow's Bite, which is her heavy kunai in the air that pulls you in and stuff like that, that was not classified as an opener. It was classified as a regular hit. You could go from that to Ender, and it was free damage. You couldn't do anything about it. But now, that jumping attack is classified as an opener, essentially ruining any of the crazy Sadira stuff that she might have had before, with insane unbreakable combos. She still has her jump cancel stuff, all that stuff is still there, but that one specific thing, totally gone. What's funny is that Thunder does not have any adjustments in here. He seems to be solid as is, and they didn't see anything to change with him, and that's pretty much it. A lot of the characters have had adjustments that are made around the entire system of Killer Instinct, not specifically their own uniqueness. No frame data changes, nothing crazy like that, like no more push block on certain things. It was more so with the entire system of the game, but I definitely think that Sabrewulf does kind of feel a little bit different with the fact that he doesn't do nearly as much damage with using a meter bar or a full meter to expend a Shadow Eclipse, which does change him quite a bit. You kind of want to use the meter in some other situations, so it's interesting. Killer Instinct, just based off this, has actually changed quite a bit, especially with the way I play Jago. But let me know what you guys think. Have you actually been playing with this stuff? Have you noticed these changes at all? Because they're fairly minor. Stay tuned. As soon as we get more information on the next character that's available, which is Spinal, I'll be back as soon as possible. My name is Maximilian, and I will see you guys later.